Welcome back to another episode of Money Mind Unlocked. I'm your host, Scott Blaze. Today's episode isn't about how to save more or how to invest better. It's about understanding something far deeper, your behavior. Specifically, the psychology of spending, why you buy what you buy, even when you know you shouldn't. Why a sale triggers your excitement. Why you feel guilt after some purchases, and pride after others. This episode is about pulling back the curtain on the hidden forces driving your financial decisions. Let's start with a simple truth. Every purchase you make is emotional before it's logical. Whether it's a new phone, a pair of sneakers, a late-night food delivery, or even a course you didn't finish, there's a feeling behind that swipe. And marketers know this. In fact, they count on it. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, a behavioral economist ran a study at a coffee shop. Half the customers were shown a simple menu with black text. The other half were shown the exact same menu. But this time the prices were rounded, the fonts more elegant, and a few items highlighted in red. Guess what happened? The second group spent more. Not because they were more hungry. Not because the food changed, but because the environment triggered different feelings. The menu design made them feel the food was higher quality, more special, and therefore more worth spending on. This is how subtle it is. Your spending isn't just about money, it's about identity, emotion, and context. Let's break down some of the major psychological triggers. First up, the scarcity principle. When something is labeled as limited edition, only 3 left, or offer ends tonight, your brain perceives urgency, even if you didn't plan to buy. Now your brain starts calculating what you'll miss out on if you don't act. This is FOMO at work, fear of missing out. Scarcity increases perceived value. It's not just about what the product is, it's about what it might mean if you lose the chance to get it. Second, social proof. Ever noticed how often you check reviews before buying? Or how popular items on shopping sites get more attention? That's social proof. We are wired to look to others for cues. If everyone else likes it, it must be good. This is deeply rooted in our need for belonging. When we buy something lots of others are buying, we feel safer, even if the product itself hasn't been evaluated. Third, the power of anchoring. Imagine you walk into a store and see a jacket for $400. You wouldn't dream of spending that. But then right next to it is another jacket, very similar, for $180. Suddenly that second jacket seems reasonable. But if you had seen it first, it might have felt expensive. This is anchoring. Your brain compares relative prices, not absolute value. And then comes the identity loop. You don't just buy things. You buy who you think you are, or who you want to be. That's why someone who sees themselves as fit might spend hundreds on supplements or athletic gear, but hesitate to invest in a skill course. Their purchases are consistent with their self-image. Marketers use this against you, selling not products, but identity. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful and dangerous patterns, emotional substitution. When you're stressed, sad, bored, or lonely, your brain craves relief. And spending often provides a temporary dopamine hit. That package arriving at your door? It gives you a sense of control, novelty, and anticipation. Shopping becomes self-soothing, even if the thing you bought doesn't add real value to your life. The act of buying gave you a chemical reward. This is why financial self-control isn't just about discipline. It's about emotional awareness. And before we dive even deeper, if you're finding this eye-opening, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps the podcast reach more people who need to hear this, and helps you stay connected to ideas that challenge and empower your financial mindset. Let's continue, because there's more beneath the surface. The next section will uncover how stores, apps, and brands design your behavior, and how to take your power back. Let's now explore how the world around you is designed to influence your spending, without you even realizing it. Every layout in a grocery store, every alert from a shopping app, every product placement on your social feed, they're all orchestrated for one purpose: to get you to buy. Let's start with store psychology. Have you noticed that essential items like milk or eggs are usually placed at the back of the store? That's not by accident. It forces you to walk past other products, many of them unnecessary but strategically placed to tempt you. You came for milk, but walked out with chips, a new candle, and 3 limited-time snacks. Colors matter too. Red creates urgency. Blue builds trust. Yellow grabs attention. Even the smell in a bakery section? Designed to trigger appetite and make you buy more. Online, it's even more subtle and more powerful. Apps use push notifications not just to update, but to interrupt. A 10% off just for you pop-up isn't generosity, it's psychological manipulation. The goal isn't to serve you, it's to spike urgency and get you back in the buying loop. Now let's talk about gamification. Apps like Amazon or Shopee use points, streaks, badges, or countdowns. These are game elements designed to reward behavior. You're not just shopping, you're playing. And when you're playing, you spend more freely. Your brain is focused on rewards, not logic. The same applies to loyalty programs. They're not built to thank you. They're built to lock you in. Once you're close to a reward, like 9 out of 10 punches on a coffee card, you're more likely to keep spending just to complete it. It's called the goal gradient effect. And then there's personalization. Every ad you see has been optimized by algorithms trained on your behavior. What you search, what you click, how long you hover, it's all data. And that data becomes prediction. Prediction becomes persuasion. So when you see an ad for something that feels so you, it's because the system knows you, possibly better than you know yourself. It sounds scary, and it can be, but it's not hopeless. Awareness is your superpower. When you know what's happening, you can disrupt it. Let me introduce a framework I call the conscious pause. It's simple. Before every non-essential purchase, ask 3 questions. 1. What emotion am I feeling right now? 2. Will this item solve a real problem, or just soothe a temporary discomfort? 3. Can I wait 48 hours before buying? This pause breaks the automatic cycle. It shifts you from reactive to reflective. Now let's dive into something deeper: money scripts. A money script is a set of unconscious beliefs you absorbed, usually in childhood, about what money means. Some people grew up hearing, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "Rich people are greedy." Others heard, "Spend it while you can," or "You only live once." These scripts run in the background and shape how you behave with money as an adult. They influence what you buy, how you save, and how guilty or proud you feel about spending. Tom, for example, had a script that said, "Spending on others is good. Spending on yourself is selfish." So even when he needed something, he'd hesitate to buy it, but he'd overgift to friends or family. His spending wasn't logical, it was emotional, and rooted in identity, until he rewrote the script. You can too. Start by identifying your money narratives. What did your parents or caregivers model? What phrases about money still echo in your head? Write them down, challenge them, replace them. Instead of, "I'm bad with money," try, "I'm learning how to manage money well." Instead of, "I have no control," try, "I'm becoming more intentional every day." The stories you tell yourself matter, because those stories drive your decisions. In our next segment, we'll explore the powerful link between self-worth and spending, and how to build a healthier relationship with both. Let's talk about self-worth and how it silently shapes what ends up in your cart. At the root of many spending choices is an invisible equation: I am what I buy. When your self-esteem feels low, when you feel unseen, unvalued, or unworthy, you might reach for things that signal status, success, or attractiveness. You don't just buy shoes, you buy confidence. You don't just buy skincare, you buy self-love. You don't just buy a fancy dinner, you buy the feeling of being someone who deserves it. This is identity-driven spending. And it's powerful. But here's the danger: when you tie your worth to your purchases, your spending becomes a way to escape yourself instead of express yourself. It becomes a mask, not a mirror. Let's be honest, we've all been there. You get rejected, and the next day you're clicking through your favorite shopping site. You feel stuck in life. So you splurge on something fresh to feel progress. You feel empty, so you fill the void with a box, a bag, a bill. But here's the truth: nothing you buy can permanently fix what's going on inside. It can distract, it can soothe, but it can't heal. The solution isn't just budgeting, it's rebuilding how you see yourself. Tom used to buy things to impress people who didn't even notice. He'd wear brands he couldn't afford, lease a car that drained his savings, and go out just to keep up appearances. But deep down, he was anxious, stressed, and broke. His breakthrough came not from a financial app, but from a journal. He started writing every day. What do I really want? What do I want to feel? What's the cost of trying to impress others? That self-awareness led to clarity, and clarity led to change. He realized he didn't want things. He wanted peace. He wanted time. He wanted to feel in control. And those things couldn't be bought. Now let's talk about comparison. Social media is a highlight reel. But when you see others traveling, dining, unboxing, upgrading, you start to feel behind. And that feeling drives consumption. You spend not because you need to, but because you want to keep up or catch up. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's invisible because it's emotional. You see someone else's level 10 and feel bad about your level 2. But you don't know the story behind their spending. You don't see the credit card debt, the emotional void, or the job stress behind the curated posts. When you spend to compete, you lose, even if you win the item. The antidote? Alignment. Spend in alignment with your values, not your comparisons. If you value growth, invest in books or courses. If you value experiences, save for trips that create memories. If you value health, prioritize wellness tools. When your spending matches your values, it stops being impulsive, it becomes intentional. Let's also talk about the power of future framing. When you're about to buy something, visualize two versions of yourself. Version 1 buys the item instantly. How do they feel tomorrow? A week from now? Version 2 waits, maybe even walks away. How do they feel? Often, that mental simulation is enough to change your decision. Your brain fast forwards the consequences and brings wisdom into the moment. This is what it means to spend like a strategist, not a reactor. In the next segment, we'll uncover how your environment, friends, and even your phone shape your financial behavior, and how to create a system that supports the spender you want to become. Let's now explore your environment, and how it acts as a hidden puppet master in your spending decisions. Everything around you either nudges you toward impulsive spending or supports intentional living. Most of us live in environments that promote reaction: ads in our pockets, influencers in our feed, discounts in our inbox, friends who say, "You deserve it." Your phone? It's the biggest spending trigger in your life. It's always with you. It notifies. It scrolls. It taps into habits you don't even notice. One click, one swipe, one "buy now" button. And just like that, your bank balance shifts. But what if your phone could support your goals instead of sabotage them? Start with your home screen. What's on it? Replace shopping apps with budgeting apps. Replace social media shortcuts with reading or journaling apps. Small shift, big ripple. Notifications? Turn off anything that tells you to spend. You don't need to be reminded of flash sales when you're trying to build financial peace. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Even better, use a service like Unroll Me to clean your inbox. Why let temptation live rent-free? Next, look at your physical environment. If your wallet, credit cards, and spending triggers are always within reach, you're more likely to act on impulse. Try this. Leave your credit card at home for non-essential days. Use a separate debit card just for discretionary spending, and preload it weekly. And now let's talk about people. Your social circle influences your financial psychology more than you think. If your friends normalize expensive brunches, spontaneous trips, and constant upgrades, you'll feel left out if you opt out. Not because you're missing the moment, but because you're missing their approval. Tom had to make a tough decision. He started declining some invites. Not because he didn't care, but because he cared about his future more. He also found new communities, people who talked about financial goals. Side hustles. Minimalism. You need at least one person in your life who celebrates your savings, not just your spending. Next, create your own system. It's not enough to just try harder. You need structure. Structure reduces friction. Use the 3-account system. Account 1. Essentials, rent, groceries, bills. Account 2. Growth, investing, learning, saving. Account 3. Flex, discretionary spending. Automate transfers. Label them. When your flex account is empty, you stop. This gives you freedom without guilt, boundaries without stress. Also, track your emotions weekly. Reflect on days you spent out of alignment. What triggered you? What could you change? Data without shame becomes insight, and insight becomes change. Let's close this loop with one last principle before we wrap up. Spending isn't the enemy. Mindless spending is. You can enjoy your money. You can buy things that spark joy. But do it with eyes wide open. Do it in alignment with your future self. Every dollar is a vote. A vote for the life you're building, or the life you're avoiding. In our final segment, we'll tie it all together. You'll learn how to rebuild your spending habits from the inside out, so you can enjoy your money without sabotaging your future. Let's bring this full circle now. You've seen the science. You've felt the patterns. But how do you rebuild your spending habits in a way that's sustainable, joyful, and empowering? Step 1. Rewrite the story. Instead of saying, "I'm bad with money," say, "I'm learning how to make intentional choices." This is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about identity. The words you speak shape your behavior. Step 2. Rebuild routines. Set a weekly, money reflection session. Just 15 minutes. Ask, what did I spend on? Why? What emotion was I feeling? What patterns do I notice? This reflection creates pattern recognition, and that recognition becomes your tool for transformation. Step 3. Redesign your reward system. Often we spend impulsively because it's the fastest way to feel good. But what if you built other reward systems? What if journaling, walking, music, creating, or connecting became your dopamine source? You can still get pleasure, but you design where it comes from. Step 4. Celebrate mindful wins. Did you skip an unnecessary purchase? Celebrate. Did you wait 48 hours and decide against something? Celebrate. Did you move money into savings instead of spending it? Celebrate. Your brain craves acknowledgement, and if you don't give yourself healthy reinforcement, you'll slip back into the old cycle. Step 5. Invest in your values. Make a list of your top 5 values. Then look at your last 30 days of spending. Do they align? If not, no shame, just adjust. This is how you build a spending habit that supports your vision, not sabotages it. Tom now uses a simple rule: if it brings peace, growth, or alignment, it's worth considering. If it brings chaos, comparison, or distraction, it's not. Simple, powerful. Let's close with this. Spending is not just about money. It's about meaning, about emotion, about who you believe you are, and who you are becoming. When you buy from a place of intention, you gain more than control, you gain clarity. You stop chasing the feeling of wealth and start building the foundation of it. And that's a shift that lasts. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be rigid. You just need to be aware. Every purchase tells a story. What story are you writing? This has been your deep dive into the psychology of spending, why you buy what you buy, and how to take back control. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who's ready to think differently about money. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Let's walk that path together. Before we go, let me leave you with a challenge, a simple practice that can transform your financial life. For the next 7 days, track not just what you spend, but why. Carry a small notebook or open a notes app on your phone. Every time you make a purchase, big or small, write down what it was, how much, and what you were feeling in that moment. Don't judge, just observe. After a week, review the list. Look for patterns. Do you spend more when you're bored? When you're anxious? Do you notice certain times of day or triggers that influence your decisions? This small act of awareness can change everything. Because most people don't overspend due to lack of knowledge. They overspend due to lack of mindfulness. The brain acts, the card swipes, and the consequences come later. But not for you, not anymore. From now on, your spending becomes an extension of your wisdom, not your wounds, of your vision, not your void. You are no longer a consumer. You are a conscious creator of your financial life. And this awareness doesn't mean you stop enjoying money. It means you start enjoying it more, because you know where it's going, why it matters, and how it fits into your bigger life story. So the next time you reach for your wallet, ask, is this a step forward, or a step away? That one question could save you thousands. It could bring peace where there was pressure. It could unlock a future you didn't know was possible. Thank you for tuning in. Stay mindful, stay intentional, and I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, every time you spend, you're casting a vote for what you value, a vote for the life you want to build, a vote for the mindset you choose to carry. Spend with purpose, reflect with honesty, live with clarity, because the way you handle your money says more about your future than any resolution ever will. Let your next choice be a powerful one. You have more power than you think. Financial change isn't about cutting everything out, it's about cutting in the right direction. You don't need to be extreme, you need to be consistent. And if you build that awareness brick by brick, you won't just change how you spend, you'll change how you live. So the next time you're about to buy, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, is this aligned with the person I'm becoming? That one pause can be the bridge between impulse and intention. And in that space, you reclaim your power. Because financial freedom doesn't start with your income. It starts with your awareness. And the more aware you become, the more intentional your life gets. Let this be your turning point. Because from this moment forward, every dollar has a direction.